Greetings, everyone. I was fortunate enough to be selected to participate in the TEKKEN8 closed network test, or the beta, if you will. I actually, for the first time in my life, streamed. I streamed my very first few hours with the game. Within 2 hours, it was pretty much easy. I reached the maximum available rank in the beta, which is Warrior, the first yellow rank. Pretty much everybody's there. I ran into Legendary Mihawk. I uploaded the matches to my channel, but not everybody I ran into was like Legendary Mihawk's level, obviously. So you get like a pretty mixed bag currently, because there are not enough ranks to disperse people. Whatever, that's not important, I digress. This week, it is just PlayStation 5. This weekend, I should say, because within 24 hours, the closed network test is going to be closed. And it's going to reopen next weekend, and this time everybody can join, like Steam, Xbox, whatever. What have you. So, had I not been able to participate in the closed network test, I would have been dying to know certain things about the game. Which is why I, in turn, because I got access to it, am decided to make 3 videos. This one is going to talk just about the general system mechanics of TEKKEN8 stuff that, again, I would have been dying to figure out. Part 2, I'm going to talk about Heat, even though people have talked about it extensively. That was like the main focus of all the pre-release coverage of the game. I think that now that we can record footage from the game, it's going to be much easier, much more comprehensive to explain it. And number 3, I'm going to talk specifically about King, which is my main character, pretty much the only character I care about outside of Armor King, which is not to this day, which is not on this game. So, again, this video is just about the general system mechanics. And I'm actually going to start in the options menu, because here we have a couple of things that are actually pretty important to mention and to highlight. If you enter into game option settings, of course, I wouldn't doubt that maybe in the final product there would be more, but you get vibration, whatever. Cross-platform is here. Like I said, it is currently useless because this weekend only PlayStation 5 gets to play. Next week we get Steam and whatnot, but there is cross-platform. And looky here, rollback settings, prioritize response, standard, prioritize graphics. I assume this controls the number of rollback frames that are available or that are allowed by the game. Now, I did play with prioritized response. Despite that, I can say that the netcode is phenomenal. It's not worse than Tekken 7. It's not worse than Tekken 7. If you're used to Tekken 7, this is like pretty much the same thing. As to whether or not it is better, I don't know. Like, people would whiff in my face, I would do back 1-2 as King and they would block it. Maybe that's something to do with the move itself, that it has like amazing recovery and pretty much safe on whiff. But I did, like, for example, manage to punish Brian's Northern Cross on block, which I never managed to do in Tekken 7, which again could be an attribute of the move. But I can say that, like, the netcode feels phenomenal. Again, this is PlayStation 5, this is not PC. PC is not yet available. I didn't get selected for the PC, actually. So yeah, that's good to know. Sound settings. There's nothing here out of the ordinary, but I entered this menu to take this opportunity to say that the music in this game is absolutely horrendous. It is atrocious. It is ear-puncturingly bad. I hate this. I really hope we get a jukebox, even with the PC version, because I don't think I can tolerate the music of Tekken 8. Like, there are like very few stages that I can, like, out of the beta, I hate like 3 out of the 5 available stages for the music. So yeah, the music is sadly atrocious. I really hope we could get to change it. Controller setup. I was really worried about this before the game released, because everybody was talking about like how Heat needs a dedicated button. Well, you could still play the game completely with just the 4 face buttons. Why? Because Heat is just simply 2+3. 2+3 is Heat. Which begs the question why this command here, why this option here pretty much exists, when you can literally bind 2+3 and you have a Heat button. And you can also use that button to use whatever other moves your character has that are done with 2+3. Like, I don't know, King has a lot, but I don't know what your character has. So you don't need a dedicated Heat button, you just need to bind 2+3. Now, it is good that we get these 3 button combinations to bind, but the problem is You can only bind 4 shoulder buttons. You cannot bind sticks. I am mashing R3 now. I get nothing. If I press L3, it takes me to this special style menu, which I'm not going to talk about. I didn't even try it. I ran into a Jin which used it because you know that because once he presses this button, like Aris said, a giant move list like pops up on screen and it's like so jarring. Whatever. So yes, you can get around with playing with just the 4 face buttons, but you can only have 4 binds. No more than that. You cannot bind stick like you can in Tekken 7. Sadly, I hope that changes within the final release, because I really need 2+4. Gladly, I don't need key charge anymore because, well, King's chain throws got changed radically, and I no longer require this to do some of them. You can still move with both the D-pad and the analog stick. I turn off the analog stick. Screen settings. This also was a topic of contention. Effect saturation settings. This is like the purple shit that keeps popping up on screen and people were talking about how it's going to be distracting. You can. I played when I originally streamed the game. I left this on high. Then I went back in and I switched it to low. So in my match against Legendary Mihawk, it was low. In my stream, it was high. So you can go back and like compare the footages if you really want to see how much of a difference it makes. I gotta say, me personally, it didn't bother me that much when it was on high, but I can assume that like competitive players would want to set this to low, but there is an option. The rest of this stuff is not mention worthy. There is a tutorial, and it is atrocious. It is horribly bad. It is just as bad, even worse maybe than Tekken Tag 2's. Maybe this is not the final product, but the reason I am here is because I want to talk about the most important thing. What everybody's talking about, and they are all right, which is movement. Movement is horrible for some characters. Jin feels like he has Tekken 7 movement, but like in distance and whatnot. But with feel, like executing the backdash, like with Jin it's okay. You can wave dash and whatnot. But oh my god, when you switch to King, it is unbearable. Unbearable. The only way for me to go into practice mode is to queue up for a match. So I'm going to make it as difficult as possible for the game to find me a match. You can switch on and off cross-platform play from this menu, but again, it doesn't make any difference because currently there's only PlayStation 5. Here's King. And here's Lars, because my brother likes him. Yeah, I can't tolerate any of these stages' music.
Get ready for the next battle.
So the movement is horrible. On King, it is atrocious. It is very awkward to execute. We're gonna get a lot of match prompts, and I'm sorry, I can't do anything about that. It is very awkward to execute. Like, you saw me backdash with Jin earlier. This is way worse to do. Like, it doesn't feel good to execute. It doesn't look good on screen at all, because like in Tekken 7 you would see him do like a hop, you would see his feet leave the ground and like land back down. You would hear the visual, the sound cue of his feet landing on the ground again. So when you backdash like this, you get something like a horse gallop, like you could. This is gone. This is all gone. Look how he's shuffling his feet on the ground. This is not Korean backdash. This is like a moonwalk shuffle. It is so bad. You have no idea how awkward, how bad it feels to actually execute this and to see it in motion. Like, I don't care if they keep King's backdash bad, like distance-wise, but like just make it feel, make it look good. I know you could argue that the Korean backdash never looked good, but this looks way worse. This has taken it in an even worse direction. It is still in the game. You still kind of like need to do it, but it looks so bad, and it's horrible to execute. Doesn't feel good. This really needs to change. Every single person who put their hands on Tekken 8 is talking about the movement. The movement is the main talking point. It really, really, really needs to change. If you want to keep it bad, keep it bad. People are saying that like sidesteps are maybe bigger, but like backdash, okay, fine. Keep King's backdash bad because they really want you to use like his new power crushes. But just like, man, work on the visuals of it because it looks awful. It feels awful to do. Now, apart from that, wake up kicks are nerfed. They no longer launch on counter hit. Oh yeah, sorry, practice mode. Currently, a lot of the options are grayed out in the beta, but if you check and read everything, you can gladly figure out that we apparently did not lose any functionality in practice mode compared to Tekken 7. And if you go to display settings, looky here, right underneath where I'm highlighting opponent attack info, player frame info. We have frame data in practice mode, thank goodness. Okay? And so it seems like full-fledged practice mode. As you can see, you can queue up to rank. You can queue up to a match from practice mode, which was also like a very huge talking point and a very big request from the community. So props for that. So I'm going to set counter hit. Get up kicks are nerfed. See, this no longer launches. This no longer knocks down. King now has 2 get up kicks because this is the universal one. Man, backdashing feels awful. And this is King's classic one, which knocks down and is super dangerous because you can get killed for doing it. What else? I think new tactics are gone. Because if I take Lars to the wall, the only way I can get him to block is to knock him down. Oh, come on. See, like, I don't see that. I don't see the wall crush mechanic from season 4 from Tekken 8. But you see another thing, which is chip damage, which I'm going to talk about that. Well, since we mentioned it. When in heat, when you activate this thing, everything you do, every single attack, even the 10 string, does chip damage. You see that? But when outside of heat, only select moves which are highlighted in the command list. Like for example, if we switch to Deadly Boomerang, where's Deadly Boomerang? Yeah, chip damage on block, you see that? So outside of heat, just a few moves cause chip, and when in heat, all moves cause chip. Chip damage cannot knock you out. They say that right here, right near the top. Heat system, what can be done with heat? I'm going to talk about heat specifically, but like chip damage, because chip damage exists outside of heat as well, as I just mentioned. Chip damage cannot knock out, yeah? And you can recover it by dealing damage of your own. Magic 4s are, for the most part, gone. King, I'm not sure. I need to get hands on the final product because I need someone to cooperate with me, and like I clearly don't have that. But like for example, this is Magic 4. It used to launch, it no longer launches, it just like gives you this knockdown. Now back one on its own, this is like a King thing. If you do back 1-2, you get a launch. You can delay it ever so slightly. So this is instant, and this is like ever so slightly delayed. But if you just do the first hit, you float afterward, but that didn't combo. So you can do this, right? But I'm pretty sure he can block afterwards because, for example, stuff like this, like it's still combos, but if you set him to action 2 guard all, I assume you won't be able to float with that. That's only if he like doesn't block it or something. I assume, I don't know. But the hit confirm window on this is not large if you want to do the back 1-2. Like you can delay it ever so slightly. So for the most part, Magic 4s are gone. I gotta say, I don't know why people are making such a big fuss out of this, because now the close-up game is going to be all jabs. It used to be that you get a trifecta of like quick mids that are like 13 frames, 13, 14 frames, jabs which are the quickest but lowest reward, and then magic fours to keep down forward ones in check. That was like the trifecta of the close-up game when any attack would reach, and like you don't have to worry about like whiffing because you're right in your opponent's face. Now you have to play the frame game, and like when magic fours are gone, it's horrible. I'm not saying this just for King. I'm saying this for overall. Like I fought Jin, and he does his magic four, and like it doesn't even knock down. He gets a mix-up. Like that like causes an animation actually pretty similar to Wall Crush from Tekken 7 currently. So I don't know. This seems to be like a decision or something, but I don't know. Maybe for King they can like make it like more hit confirmable. Well, yeah, the combo is like nice in damage, but whatever. I'll talk about that later. Wall bounce is gone because if we do this, you get a regular wall splat. Speaking of wall splat, wall sticking within a combo is extremely difficult. If we do. See, he slopes down way quicker than he did in Tekken 7. If I do some other example, see that? Like he spirals downwards. So like wall carrying it's like for King it's odd because back 1-2 is your tailspin, and it ends up being your best like wall carry as well because it like launches them high. So yeah, floor break seems to be gone. There's no stage with floor breaks in the beta, and not a single move in the command list says that it causes wall break. They otherwise like they don't say that it wall sticks either, but floor breaks seem to be gone. Chip damage, I talked about that, and finally throws. Overall the throw break window for like the generic throws seem to be just the same, if not even bigger than Tekken 7. Either the throw break window is bigger, or it is actually that the netcode is better, despite the fact that I just said I don't think it is better. But I've been able to break throws more easily, and I'm usually horrible at throw breaking. In addition to that, a lot like some throws are unbreakable. For example, King's crouch grabs, all three of them, because we got the new pedigree and that didn't replace one of the old ones. All of them are unbreakable. And this is going to be very important, and I am dying to know what this is. Some throws on King at least, for example, giant swing, power up with quick input or while heat is activated. For example, I hope I get it. I am. So this is a buffed up Shining Wizard. It did 45 damage. Regular Shining Wizard does 40. And you see how he flashed? I don't know if you... Yeah, you see how he flashed? Like a blue stuff came out of him. Like, if this only leads to more damage, I would be extremely disappointed. If this leads to the throw break being smaller, I don't think that makes it impossible to break. They would have said that because they otherwise say it. I hope. But at least maybe it makes the throw break window smaller. So that is something that actually exists. And in Heat, this applies to all your throws. See, like it changes the animation, like the camera zooms in. Usually Giant Swing doesn't do that. For example, this is Tijuana Twister, and if I am in Heat, which applies it to all throws, see, you get a different animation and 5 extra damage. Again, if this just applies to the damage, I would be extremely disappointed. But I think this is all I wanted to talk about in regards to general system mechanics. Yeah, I think that's it. So now I'm going to, like I said, end it here. I'm going to make a second video talking specifically about heat and the heat-related mechanics. And if you are a King player, I would highly recommend you check out the third video talking about King specifically. So, thank you all for watching, and see you next time.